Hey everyone, it's MG from Experience Points. Check us out online at exppoints.com or facebook.com/experience points. You could also like and subscribe to YouTube at youtube.com/the channel, or Twitter if you want to do the Twitter thing at exp_points. So this is going to be a little bit of an introductory Let's Play type of episode on Banished. Banished is a city building simulation. I guess it's a city building strategy adventure game. If you've played Pharaoh or Zeus or Caesar 3 or Caesar 4 for that matter, it's more like that and less like Sim City. In my opinion, this game was released at I guess towards the end of February, like February 18th, and it's currently only for Windows. But it has been stated that if this game does do really well and is very profitable and is very successful, then the developer, which is Shining Rock Software and Luke Hordrewitz. I hope I didn't kill his name, but if it's successful, then it'll go to other platforms, so we can see this on Linux and Mac and all that other cool stuff. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I have a city already that I've been playing for a little bit. This is like my 5th city because I brutally died in all my other cities. Hopefully that won't be the case this time. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to get a Mitcher. That's going to be our town named Mitcher. So yeah, these are the basic starting attributes. We'll just go ahead and change the map seed around a little bit. Terrain types, there are 2 terrain types, mountains and valleys. They're kind of self-explanatory. Terrain size, large, small, and medium. We'll leave it on large. That's the size of the map. Climate has 3 options as well, mild, fair, and harsh. I'll leave it on fair just because it's kind of, I guess, a medium difficulty, more or less. Disasters are either on or off. We'll leave those on. Though in all of my playthroughs, I have not encountered an actual disaster yet. So, of course, because I'm recording, I'll encounter a string of 8 disasters all at once. Starting conditions, hard, medium, and easy. I'll leave it on medium for the sake of this one. I've been doing pretty well with medium, but, you know, if you go hard, it'll tell you that you have 4 families. That's 1 less than the medium. You don't have much clothing, firewood, or food, or tools, and there's no seeds, so you're going to have to acquire those seeds from, say, a trader, versus a medium where you have 5 families, and you have a respectable amount of materials, and you also have some fields and orchards. So we're just going to go ahead and go and start Mitcher. So once it starts up, you know, you do have full time control, and there are tutorials and everything on this that will help you sort of understand, especially if you've never played a city building simulation. There is some intuition to it after a while. You kind of just get it, I feel, but I have heard several people get a little distraught at the fact that you know, at some of the things that, some of the ways the game does some things, as it were. So we got a pretty respectable location right now. We've got a river which kind of runs right near, so that'll be good for attracting wildlife. We can see there's some deer right here. I've paused the game. We can see that there's some deer, so that's good. We've got some stone over here and some iron, which is good for starting materials. You can see our 5 families. They're just kind of chilling, and because I've paused time, they will forever chill until I start it. There's a storage barn that has some warm clothes for the winter months to come. Some iron tools and some potatoes, some food, potatoes of choice. I guess this is like Ireland Middle Ages, Idaho Middle Ages, something like that. In the stockpile we have some firewood, some iron, some logs, and some stone. And again, we couldn't ask for a better location because we've got a ton, we've got a big strip, kind of peninsulaed out by these, it's a very large map. Now something I do not see a lot of, we don't see a lot of mountains, and though we have a mountain right here, for certain types of resources, like a mine rather, we will need a mountain. So if I come over here, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of really good placement for our mine over here. So we will have to eventually deal with that, and I guess maybe, and I'm not going to place it, I'm just trying to see what the best location. Now it looks like right here. Right here's the best place. So I'll have to do some creativeness to get people over here. So how do you start a city building simulation, what mindset do you approach? We should know what we're looking at. The first things that I think you should show up is the general stats. You should see what season you're in, what year you're in, how many people you have, and certain statuses. So in this case, it says 20 people. That happens to be the 5 families of 4 are without homes, but it also tells you how happy they are and how much stuff you have. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that where it is. Secondly, you want to bring up the job assignment pane, and the job assignment pane is pretty important because it will, in fact I'm going to reverse these. The job assignment pane, or the professions pane, is going to allow you to define what people do what. So initially everyone is laborers, and they just sort of move stuff and do stuff, and they're just like odd jobs. They're not really specialized. So if I tell them to chop down these trees or move these rocks or clear out this land or whatever, then they'll go and do that. And if there are no people doing that, then it'll take significantly longer for those things to actually occur, if at all. So we see that there's limits on production, and we can see these based off of this resource limits pane, or we can click on the individual buildings, and there's no buildings that have resources that are generated yet, but we're going to go ahead and put some in a little bit. Before we do that, let's go ahead and close this out. We will create a road, and roads are going to be an effective way of getting people places. So we're going to go ahead and put a road there, and then we're going to put a long road back here. And I'm probably making this road longer than it needs to be, but it'll work out. So, and then we're going to go ahead and hit play. Now, there's some time controls down here. You can speed up to 10 times the normal speed for this simulation, and that's pretty fast. You don't want to run away with it though, because if you run away with the simulation speed, it can get bad quick. Let's go ahead and start up general. I'm going to pause this again. Let's start with general resource collection. So make sure that we can get wood and things like that up and really fast, I guess. Let's make a house first. Okay, so you've got a couple versions of the house, right? You've got a boarding house, which is, I guess, a really easy way of making so that people can just live there very quickly. And it's worth, you can see the resources right down there, 100 logs, 45 stone, versus each house, 16 logs and 8 stones. So I've never done it where I've made a boarding house first instead of making several houses. In fact, I don't think I've ever made a boarding house, but I think that's what's going to cause me to fail in some other games, because you need to have a place for the homeless to go. So I'm going to go ahead and make a boarding house. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to click, and if you noticed on the boarding house, and it's going to be grayed out now, the rotation mechanic is pretty awesome. You can't do angles of rotation other than the 4, 90 degree, 45 degree, I guess 180 degree, and then 0 degree angles. But you don't really need to. You can kind of have it on that square plane, but you can move your mouse around and move your world around and things like that. So if you notice these arrows, that is the front of the building, and that is where people will be able to enter and exit the building. So you can actually overlay these with, say, that road that I just made. You can put them on that, and it won't recreate the road, but it will connect to it. So that's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and start the, we're going to go ahead and put it on 5 times, and we're going to let them start taking out all of these rocks. And you can see when we click on the not finished boarding house, we see a list of things that are happening. First, they have to remove 18 trees. Then they have to move 100 logs from over here to over here. And then they have to move 45 stone from over here to over here. And then they have to spend 150 cycles building. And that just means that one pickaxe swing is a cycle. So 150 swings of a pickaxe or an axe. And, there's the boarding house. And we can see that they already started building. They've got the stone, and they formed up the foundation. And so now they're doing that. Once they decide to come back and build it. Oh, okay, so this is actually important. I did not assign any builders, but we see that there are 4 building slots here, so I'm going to actually increase it to 4, and people are all of a sudden going to care, and we see that they start hammering away on this boarding house, which is what we wanted them to do. While they're finishing that, I'll go ahead and I'll connect a road up. so that people can walk there. Roads are not really required, but they do help your citizens get around faster. In fact, it says that right here: faster travel, even faster travel. Bridges are necessary. You can't just, you know, run over water or whatever. It's not Jesus Simulator, it's a silly simulator, so that's cool. Okay, so they finished the boarding house. I'm going to stop that. And we see that in the boarding house, people have already started to just get up in there. And I'm actually going to play it just a little bit, see if... Yeah, okay, so everyone's in there now. We don't have any people up here. We don't have any problems with people being homeless. We do have this thing, though, and we don't know what this is yet. So let's go ahead and play and see if that goes away. Because sometimes these things are just kind of there. All right, hold on. We see this icon down here. It says reserve of firewood is low. Now we had firewood earlier, so where did it go? Apparently they took the firewood and they put it in there. Now it's spring, and it's 59 degrees, so it's not a bad temperature right now, but they will continue to use that. With everyone being in here, you can see they're all just like getting their little grubby hands on all the potatoes and all the firewood, and you know, there's not much firewood. In fact, there's no firewood left in here, so we need to start making firewood. And we need to start making a few things. We need to start getting logs, we need to start getting firewood, which come from logs, and we need to start getting food. And we need to start getting those pretty quickly because winter is fast approaching. So let's go ahead, since we don't need to build anything yet, let's go ahead and put those laborers back. And we can see that we actually have more laborers now, and that's probably because someone became of age. People have sex in this game, and they have children, and we can see that the children, up until age, I believe age 10, can't really do anything. They're just children. But once a child becomes 10, they apparently can be forced into laboring or doing something. So that's pretty cool. And we actually have a few kids that are 10 years old. So that's really good. I'm glad that, you know, starting them young. Let's go ahead and build. Let's get our forestry started. So this is a forestry, and you can see from, I'm trying to get a better way, there's a ring around this building. That is going to say that within that ring, this forester lodge is going to plant and cut down trees. So we don't want to put it right here because what's going to happen is he's going to plant trees all in this field area, and that's annoying. So let's not do that. Let's put him more like out here. And we already have a road. We can kind of highlight that road and see where that road is. We'll just attach him to the end of this road. Even though there's a significant portion of that on the river, it shouldn't hurt us too much right now. So he's coming up. And we see that we have a woodcutter, and it says, the tooltip says, used to chop logs and firewood, which are then used to heat homes in the winter. So we can go ahead and put him, we'll just put him right next to this thing, so whenever he gets logs, he'll just chop them and put them right back. So that's good. And we'll give him a road. See, building cities, fun. We'll go ahead and we'll start the timer after we put 5 people to build, and they will go about their business. Now we're going to see a lot of little tooltips down here because initially our resources are going to be fluctuating. So again, food is low because we don't have much food, and we actually do need to consider building food. So I'll let them build at toot speed while we come up with something. So we've got crops and orchards and pastures and fishing, and then hunting and gathering. Hunting and gathering does berries and nuts and things like that. Gathering, excuse me, does berries and nuts. Hunting does deer and venison and things of that nature, but you need to have animals in there. We can see there's an animal right back here, so they know that animals come here at some point, which is good. And then there's fishing. Fishing's sort of a year-round type of thing, so let's go ahead and put fishing real quick. You can kind of put fishing wherever. It has to be connected to water, obviously. Let's put 2 fishing piers there, and we'll assign a few more people to building. And we can see again, logs, it's getting lower. And we will connect our roads just to get the dudes faster. Now, just because you put roads doesn't mean that they're going to use the roads. All right, so we have a woodcutter. We can see 1 fuel limit. Just like the limits had the other day. And we see also that there's this question mark, and it says no citizens are available to work at this location. So we'll take our 3 back that were required to build, and we'll put 1 at the woodcutter. And what he's going to do is he's instantly going to start jumping on logs and trying to, you know, cut some stuff. But there are no logs there, so that's a problem. There were immediately some logs, but they were used to build something. So now we've got a problem. We don't have the resources to build our forester lodge. We don't have our resources to build our fishing dock, and they're not going to change that. So we need to really quickly get some resources. Let's go down here and let's just clear out all of the trees right in front of our little base camp thing that we started. And all those laborers, time to put them to work. So let's speed up the simulation. They're going to go out and they are going to get this stuff. If we look at the woodcutter again, we see that it says there are no materials. But as we chop down these things, they start bringing logs back over here, or they will. And then, yeah, there we go. So they're starting to bring logs back over here and fill up that resource. The woodcutter is going to then grab some logs and start cutting them and then making more firewood. So we see that we're starting to get some stuff building right there. They managed to make a forestry lodge. We're going to go ahead and put a full count in the forestry lodge. And then once these fishing docks are ready, we're going to put a full count in the fishing docks. So, yep, 4. We'll take down 2, and then we'll add 4 fishermen. Some of these resources, like crops and orchards, they aren't really available for a year-round production. They have, it's just like real life. You know, you have to pick the right season to plant and do things. So you may notice that when you play this, and I didn't notice the first few times I played it, that by the time late winter, or by the time autumn and late autumn occurred, I was severely out of resources, and I was out of food, and my people were pretty much starving to death, and people will die all the time. In fact, they'll die all the time. Alright, so we're out of stone, and I can see right here that we're out of stone. We just got 6 stone, and I'm not sure why. Maybe some people got some stuff. Let's go ahead and take and remove all of the stone behind our base, because again, this is all forestry territory now. We don't really need the stone. In fact, we can go ahead and remove all of the additional stone back there. Now notice that some of these stones look different. This is iron right here versus that stone right there. And we can see that our little dudes they're working real hard to get the stone. Working so hard, in fact, that our inventory is filling up. So we do need to create another inventory stockpile. And I guess we can just do that right back here by this guy. And we'll make it 10 by 5, because I think this is 5, and I like symmetry, so we'll do that. It says food is low, and yeah, it probably is, because we forgot to change people over and add more people to our fisherman dock. But now we have. So now there are people out there fishing, and there are inherent risks with being near water. Apparently people will fall over and die, they will drown. People can freeze if there's not enough fuel, and I like bumping this up because you'll go through this firewood very quickly as people are born and people die, and you know, things need to be kept warm. So awesome. Looks like we've got a good bit of stability now. We've got stored food. Well, we had stored food. And we're relying solely on fish. So that's not really a good thing. Let's go ahead and get an alternate means of food production. I like to go with the hunting cabin, and I like to typically put it next to the forestry lodge. So let's go ahead and put that there, and we'll assign our remaining laborers to building. Now, even though it says 3, that's the total number of jobs available, it doesn't mean that I have to meet that. I could put 1 laborer on a building job, and they can just, you know, it'll take them, I guess, 2/3 of the time, or it'll take them 1/3 longer, excuse me, than if I would have a full complement. So it'd be 133% time instead of 100% time. So yeah, we can see that we we are nearing capacity on all of our stuff. We really need this over here taken care of. So I'm actually going to pull back off of that so they can come and remove these logs. And since I told them to remove all the stone, there's a problem. They care about the order of operations, so we can actually go ahead and bump our priority up to, say, this area. And they will drop what they're doing other places, come over here, and they will start removing these trees. And we can see that they're doing that now. So you do have a little bit of control over what they will and what they won't do. So what I'll do is since I've increased priority, we'll go ahead and keep a little tab on this. Yeah, good. So everyone's caring about this area now, including the builders and the laborers. And we can see that they started putting stuff there. So sweet, we've got more stockpile area. And they'll go back to doing what they're doing, including clearing out this area. Since we don't have that stable of food supply, go ahead and increase the priority in this area again, and people will all of a sudden care about building in this area. So I went ahead and took the extra laborer I had, which I think someone must have been of age, because yeah, there was this Ralph Fonzo came of age. He is now going to come over here. So they're going to remove that. They're going to build a hunting cabin. Then I will have to have hunters. And I think there are, per hunting cabin, there were 3 hunters. But, as you can see, there's, well, I thought there were some deer. I don't know. Maybe the deer have migrated somewhere else. But you can see right here that they're planting new trees. And I didn't go over this, but you can actually tell them to stop planting and stop cutting trees. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to bump up this limit just a little bit, so we don't have people idly doing stuff. Alright, so the hunting cabin's finished. We can take our builders back, and we can put 3 hunters in this hunting cabin. And they will go around, and they will look for stuff and things and try and kill it with big, heavy axes and darts. I don't think there's guns. This is like the Middle Ages, so there's no guns yet. Then we can see that every now and then there's a flashing above this. It's because they're hungry and they're getting food, and as soon as they're getting food, they are eating the food. And if this continues, people will start dying, and that's not good. And we can see that we've kind of lost a heart. So this is not a direct indicator of how people are doing. They may be sick or something. They may not necessarily just be starving, but it's kind of like an average of people's livelihood and people's niceness and how they're going about their day. We're going to go ahead and build a gathering hut. And a gathering hut is going to get all of these things, like these mushrooms right here, and those are mushrooms, these nuts and berries and these little bushes. It's going to start giving us stuff like blueberries and, the good stuff. So let's go ahead and add a builder. And again, we don't have many people left. We've only got 1 builder. Here we go. People are starting to go hungry. And people are starting to probably die of starvation, so I'm actually going to pause, because, again, I'm at 10 times. That was running away with me. I'm going to take people off of the woodcutter, and I'm going to take people off of a forester, and I'm going to put them towards building. And I'm going to fill up fishermen, because whoever this person was, Haywoodson, was a fisherman, and he died. Now, normally, if you have laborers just hanging out in the laborer pool, they'll automatically jump in and say, hey, I want to be a fisherman today, because Haywoodson died, but because we didn't have any, they didn't do that. So we're going to have a string of people dying in a second, and I'm getting kind of nervous about it, because this doesn't make for a good Let's Play or a good review. So let's go ahead and, in fact, since we've got a good bulk of wood, enough to finish stuff up, let's go ahead and take people out. Yeah, we lost Rand. He was another fisherman, but because I put 2 laborers in, he was put in there. Oh wow, you see, this is what I'm talking about. We got some children dying. It's okay for children to die right now, but not in the future. They are the next generation, so we could see that they are producing food, but just as quickly they are dying. People are dying all over the place, so maybe not a good start to this game, which is unfortunate. Let's I don't know, let's see how it plays out. Maybe it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and speed it up. Okay, so we can see that we're getting a little bit of food in there. Because I believe... Oh, no, they don't have food either. Now, you know, it's not all bad that these people are dying, because as sad as it sounds, as soon as the population minimizes enough to where the amount of food that they're intaking is sustainable, it will allow those people to live off of the lesser food. So, you know, we'll be losing a lot of people. In fact, I started with 25 or 20. I have 8 adults left, so really I only have 8 people that'll work, which isn't a lot. In fact, I'm gonna put some of my remaining people, as fishermen. I'm sorry, as hunters instead of builders. And you can see this building's still getting built. This is the gatherer's hut that I put up a long time ago, and you know, it's still going fine, more or less. It may not matter. Starting to regret my decision to build this boarding house. But we can see, oh look, they've got venison, which comes from deer, and we've got fish, which come from the water, and fish, I guess. So it looks like we may be okay, even though there is no stored food. Now we did get leather though from those deer that they've been killing, which is good because leather is used later to make hide coats and wool and warm coats, which is important. Now we already have 6 warm coats, or warm clothes, left. We finished our gatherer's hut. So let's put 1 gatherer there. I'm not feeling too good about it. Even though we just get a big influx of food, it was instantly consumed by this boarding house. You know, they're just gonna have to be a little bit quicker about making food and getting food over there, because I think they're consuming it too fast. And sometimes this strategy will work. In fact, in the past, and I may stop for a moment and quit this game and load up Jerse and show you that it is more or less working. There's careful expansion that I feel that I somehow missed this go round, but it's not doing too bad yet. People aren't so hungry anymore, and again, I think the population has sort of equalized. We see now the gatherer producing berries and onions and roots and stuff like that. Now, a big problem is going to be that we have firewood. We have 153 firewood, and we've got a significant amount of firewood stocked. But what's going to happen is that eventually we're going to run out of firewood, and because we don't have many people, we aren't going to be able to refill that firewood or refill the log count, and we're going to continue to lose people because now they're going to start freezing. And there seems to be some bugs maybe, because it's 14 degrees now, and yeah, 14, 15 degree temperature, that's cold. But in the middle of the summer, sometimes this temperature will drop down to, you know, 40 or 50, and they want to use firewood. And if you're not prepared, then, you know, there goes your firewood. And we can see there's a steady decline of firewood now. Again, I think we're fine this winter, but next winter could be a different story. So, out of all of the children, we've got 1 that is 1-year-old, 1, 2 or 3 that are 8. We've got 4 kids that are 8. In 2 years, probably 1 year, because I think they roll up whenever late winter ends. In 1 more year, they will be able to do things. They will be able to care about laboring, and maybe not 1 year exactly, maybe not late spring, because early spring, excuse me, because they didn't roll up their numbers yet. So if we can survive for another, you know, 1.5 to 2 years, then I think we'll be good. But the problem now is that whenever they become of age, I think they'll consume more food, and that'll be a problem too. So. Like I said, couldn't have asked for a better starting location. Maybe if I wasn't so bad at the game, it would have been better for us. That's the general gist. You don't want to follow this exactly, obviously, but you know, food production, housing. Let's go ahead and look at a city that's actually succeeding. We're going to go ahead and save this as whatever city name it was called. Can't even remember what it was called. And we're going to load up Jerse. Oh, Mitcher. It was called Mitcher. So we're going to load up Jersey. Yeah, fine. Lose or progress. I was trying a new strategy with this most recent incarnation of Jersey. I'm going to stop it real quick so we can go through it. This is where I started, right here. In fact, my first storehouse was right here, I think. This was the first one. And I expanded out, started building houses, and eventually got to build out this way, created some crops with a pumpkin crop, and created some things that I didn't really need, like a hospital. I don't need a hospital right now, and I don't know why I don't need it. I just know that whenever I put somebody in there, I never have any patients. They're never hurt. They're never sick, so I just took people out of it. I've got a Forester Lodge right here. This was the first Forester Lodge. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I lied. No, this was the first Forester Lodge. And then I built out and built up and got this Forester Lodge. And there's actually another Forester Lodge way down here. And then I think we have my gathering hut, my hunter's cabin. A few of them actually. So I have another hunting cabin, another gathering hut. Ideally, wherever I have a gathering hut or a hunting cabin, I have the opposite. So they're double dipping, I guess, and we have another hunting cabin and another gathering hut. We've got 2 mines on this map. One mine is 79% and one mine is 65%. They're both doing iron because I haven't found a good use for coal yet. I know that there is a good use, but I just haven't really cared about it. Got 4 fishing docks up here and then 2 fishing docks over here. A trading post that I have loosely been using. I haven't really been using it much lately. And you can see that I've got a ton of graveyards. I've got a graveyard here and here and here and here and here. And I've had a lot of people die in my 39 years of Jersey. So that sounds like a horrible name for a show, 39 years of Jersey. A lot of woodcutters, because as you grow as a city, you will need more firewood. So I've got 1 down there, 2, 3, 4. I think I just have 4. Yeah, 4 of those. A few stockpiles, some that are inconveniently placed, some that are like always full. I've got a town hall which actually shows you some pretty cool information, like graphs of how good things have been. So if I look at the 50-year graph, you can see that my population's been booming, but every now and then I do drop significantly. In fact, I dropped a little bit from where I was in this, I think it was 3-year span right there, which some of this information is really cool because you can see when you really screwed up or whatever. Trade items, you could just say, you know, what you can grow and what you can house. I had to buy cattle and sheep and chickens from a trader. That's the only way that I know of that you can, you know, actually acquire these goods. I started with pumpkins and peppers, and I had to buy beans and pecans and cabbage. Actually, I think I may have found pecans in a gathering hut, but I had to buy cabbage and beans, and those are what these are. Crop field for pumpkin right here and right here. I've got cabbage, peppers, and beans right there, and I think this is more pumpkin, yeah. Pumpkin was what I had first, so I just really like pumpkins, and we'll go ahead and we'll stick with, you know, what works. I've got a couple little micro settlements, got all of my, you know, these are stone houses. They're better for warmth, and these are the normal houses that you make. Again, no boarding homes, no boarding houses, which have, I thought they were going to bite me because whenever you get nomads, all of a sudden you inherit 17 people and you need places for them to stay. But thankfully I've been good enough, lately it's been a good enough game to create more houses on the fly, and they just go to their homes, and that's fine. Recently, and again with that big, if I go to the town hall, you can see the graph again. Recently I had a huge dip in population, but I'm not doing too bad. I've got 92 people now with, or 92 adults, 20 students, and then 31 kids. So when the boom hits, I'm not prepared for it, and I probably won't be prepared for it, but that'll be fine. So we see a lot happening right now. We see that all of my crops are not manned now, including the orchard. And the orchard, I believe, is underneath farmer as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put 4 people on that, and it doesn't take them all off because you need more than 4 people. Since I've got enough lumber or enough logs, I'm going to go ahead and take people off of both wood cutting. You can see that they've reached their limit of, whoops, they haven't reached their limit. So I'll leave 3 people on wood cutting. I'll put those 3 people, or I'll put the 2 extra people on farming, and I'll take some people off of gathering because I'm pretty stable right now with that. I really need a big push in farming to get, food for the winter. And this is kind of the annoying part of this game. It's very meticulous resource management. I feel that, people are resources too. So it just depends on what you need from them. In this case, if I open up resource allocation, right here, resource limits, I have 250 clothes that I want to store. I only have 94 in there. Now, people have those clothes. Like not there, but maybe here. They're selling these clothes. This is a market, by the way. Markets are kind of like places where everybody kind of goes to get stuff. It's like a Walmart, except in the Middle Ages with, like fruit and stuff. It's like Aladdin. Imagine Aladdin at the very beginning. So yeah, they've got a bunch of stuff there. I don't want that to go away, so I'm going to keep that limit high. So I need to keep someone as a tailor. Tailor's right here, by the way. It's creating warm coats out of wool and leather, except that I don't think I have any wool available anymore. You get wool from sheep. I have some sheep right here. Likewise, and maybe I glossed over the pastures, or I didn't talk about it at all, but pastures are kind of cool because you set a limit based off of the size of the pasture. That's the number of animals that can be in it. Now, cattle, in this case, I have I can't remember, just like a 15 by 15 pasture. Only 12 animals can be in there at once. So, whenever more than 12 get in there, they'll kill one and I'll get food. And I guess I'll get, like, maybe hide or leather or something. Same with chickens. Chickens are maxed out right now. I've got 36 of these chickens in here. Every time a chicken is created, like a baby chicken, the oldest chicken dies, and I hear some annoying sound clip. I've got another pasture that I'm making a big old pasture down here that's going to take forever to build. But I did start a pasture up here with chickens, and whenever the chickens got to, in fact, they're about to slaughter some chickens right here because I have 44 out of 42. Whenever I started this pasture, I got a ton of chickens, and they were slaughtering and getting eggs and everything, and that was cool. And then I created this pasture down here for chickens, and there's this split function that if you have two pastures for a certain type of animal, say two pastures that I want chickens to be in, if there's only one pasture there with chickens, you can hit split. It'll half this number, so it'll take however many numbers is hard. Anyway, it'll take those people, or take these chickens, and put half of them over here. So that's pretty neat. It's not like rocket science, right? It's like chicken science and math and stuff. So where was I? Oh yeah, okay, so farming. It is early spring. They can typically, if I start it right at the end of late winter or the start of early spring, they can generate 1,000 amount of stored food in 4 months time, 5 months time. So let's go ahead and hit play on this thing and watch that happen. We can see that they'll start in a second coming out here and planting any second. There's the farm. Yeah, here we go. So they're going to start any second now, rowing some hoes or hoeing some rows. Doesn't look like they care much. Oh, there we go. Okay, so they're putting some seeds down and doing some stuff. And there's that sound effect of all those chickens dying. Here we go. So we got some beans growing right here, which is cool. We got some people doing some things over with the pumpkins. We can actually see some pumpkins coming up, which is important. So that's cool. That's not really fun to watch. These pecan trees. So this was kind of an experiment to see exactly what pecans did for me. And they don't do much, I feel. Like they just kind of add variance. Because wherever they store these pecans, they use them for something. I guess you could trade them. But these pecan trees take about 4 years to actually grow. And before they start producing, really. And it's kind of an investment in time, which is hard early on in the game, but once there's some stability, you'll be good. So we can see that 3 kids became of age. We're going to go ahead and kind of reinvest them in, say, let's do hunting, because hunting's kind of a big deal. We can see that our food is a back and forth. We've got fishermen died of old age. It's always good for people to die of old age. It's never good for them to die of, getting crushed by a rock, which happens. Alright, so food is low. Let's put people back on, say, fishing. Max out our fishermen. And our food's not really low because, I mean, each of these houses has some food in it, even if it's just like pumpkin. Um, it just fluctuates and says low every now and then because you get food and then all of a sudden you lose food. Alright, so yeah, there's apparently some nomads here. And it says 17 nomads requesting citizenship. So I'm going to pause this real quick because this is kind of an interesting part of the game. Nomads, they're just people that show up and they're like, yo dude, we saw that Jersey was a place to be. Can we join you in your amazing Jersey city? And normally I'm like, yes, I need more workers. I need this number to be, instead of just 1, I need it to be 18. 17 plus 1, that's 18. That's math. But the problem is, so now I've only got like 400, right? 400 stored food. Likewise, I don't have any place to put these people. Like, there's not a lot of, there's no empty houses. I don't know how the allocation works, but there's no place to put these people. So I don't know where the hell they're gonna go. And they'll be homeless for a while, and they'll just chill around. But what happened last time is I let these nomad people come and stay in Jersey, and I built them houses. In fact, I think these are my last string of nomads, and I guess I could just build like a boarding house right here, even though that didn't help me much last time. I could build homes. It's the food hit. I don't have the sustainment for food, and I guess it's okay. I'll show. I'll accept them. I'll accept them. I'll say, yeah, sure, you can be in Jersey. And we see that 12 of those, or 11 of those 17 are available. So now we have 107 with 19 students and 37 children. So what I anticipated, people are about to start starving to death, on top of not being, not having homes. So let's go ahead and, since we've got the adequate amount of wood, just queue up some stone houses. At some point in this game, there's no real point to building wooden houses anymore, except that they're cheap. They're very affordable. But the problem with being affordable is that they don't really protect your people from dying in winter, and that's unfortunate. You don't want to die in winter. That's just not good. So we queued up 8 houses, or 7. Looks like 7 houses. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make a road because reasons, and I'll connect these somehow. Okay, good. So that's connected. That's good. And we see that there are a significant amount of people available now. So I'll put 10 over there, and then I'll max out our gathering potential. Not that I think that's going to help us much. It's summer. They're about to start harvesting, so let's deal with it. And there we go, 17 people, all of a sudden homeless. Food reserves go in the toilet, and now we're going to start moving and clearing, and hopefully, yeah, there we go. So we got some resource generation going on from clearing out some of that stuff. Got some moving and shaking. That's good. That's good. Except that food's going to be a problem, probably in the winter. No matter what, because they're going to start harvesting and they're going to start getting all the peppers and the beans, but I just can't see it being enough. So that's going to be a problem. And it does look like they got a really late start. So maybe when it was spring, or early spring, it was the very end of early spring. So maybe by the start of winter, they'll be done harvesting these other places. They're harvesting now, so it didn't look like it got a very good yield, which is going to be a huge problem, because if I was banking on these things getting way more than just 24-25% yield, that's all right though. Go ahead and recycle some of our farmers in a minute to being builders. See, there's a trader here. I'll pause this because this is important. In the trade window, you have an inventory first off in the trading post, and this is how much stuff you want to store in your trading post, so that when a guy in a boat, in this case, when Vern, the resource merchant, comes in his little boat thing right here, you've got some stuff to give him that will be worth something to him. There's no money in this game. It's a bartering system. So in this case, I have 100 leather and 100 venison that are just stored in here, and I think venison's worth 10 each, and leather's worth something else. I can't remember. So there's a cost, right? Oh, here we go. So venison's worth nothing. currently, and I don't know why. But leather's worth 100, so 100 times 10, that's, what is that, 1,000? Is that what that is? Yeah, so, again, math is hard early in the morning. There are certain things that I can buy, so if I really needed wool coats, then I can buy up to 50 of these for this much per. Now, obviously, I could buy, however many of those, but I don't really need anything from this guy. I'm pretty good on iron, I'm pretty good on stone, and I'm good on all this other stuff, and I've got some clothes, so I'm just going to dismiss him, and he's going to just get away. He's going to leave. You could go ahead and create purchase orders, and people will come specifically with what you need. I'm going to go ahead and just actually turn this thing off because there's no need for a trader. I don't need it. I'm pretty self-sufficient at this point. Or so I think. Maybe I'll die. Maybe this will be the winter that kills me. We can see that food keeps going, back and forth, and people are hungry. There are a few people with forks kind of around their head. This is going to be a problem. I can see it being a problem. People are going to start dying. In fact, we have a child that just died of starvation, so that's unfortunate. But there's nothing that we can really do. I mean, we've got everybody that we can pushed into working. So I guess we're gonna have to roll with it and see what we come out of it. They're gonna start finishing these houses up pretty quickly. We can see them popping up right now. People are instantly jumping in. So we had 17, now we only have 8 that are homeless, and we only have 1 that's hungry. So and he just died. So yay, no more hunger. A lot more death though. Cemeteries will help you mitigate the sadness that comes with people dying. In fact, that's what I think the tooltip says, like, build a cemetery so that people won't be sad. I have a lot of death here, like 42 plus 20 is 62 plus 9, what is that, 71, 81 plus 12. There's a ton of people, and then there's like 9 more up there. So yeah, a lot of people are dying. Alright, here we go. Reserve food is low. Even though it seems like we're doing alright, it could be a false assumption, because that number can just go back and forth really quickly. Yeah, so it's the winter. We can go ahead and take these farmers back. And because these laborers are just not going to really be doing anything, let's go ahead and have them do something. Let's just have them remove resources over here. And this will be a future expansion. We can also go ahead and bolster our wood cutting, because firewood will, this was like 900 something a second ago, and now it's half of that, that's a problem. So we've got people, they're chopping some stuff down, they're getting some stone, they're doing some cool stuff. We're going to need to put them back on farming in like a month when this ends. In fact, I'm probably going to put them back on it right now, so they can just get a jump on that. And I'm actually going to take the builders off, max out my farmers, because now it's early spring in a second. Once this rainy season's over, it'll probably be early spring. You can see, like, the orchards died, and they'll come back. Spring, new life, stuff like that. You'll probably sit here and watch it, but I'm not gonna. Alright, now we see a guy. That's better. That's much better. 2 or 3 people doing some stuff with some of that. Alright, we got some more people dying of old age. And that's okay. Old age is what you want. You want old age deaths. You don't want, falling down this pit. Now this pit hasn't been really used, and I should probably just use it and get it over with, because it's 3%. But I've been getting a pretty good amount of stone the other way, so we'll leave it. If that winter was really bad, I could have moved this slider. I guess I could do it with chickens, because chickens are annoying anyway. So you got, 42 chickens. Let's go ahead and bring that down to 21, half of that number. They will just start killing chickens like it's nobody's business, and this number will just start going up because of all the chicken deaths. You can see it right now. They're taking these chickens out. Now this slider won't go back. I'll have to come back and tell them, go back. We've got enough logs, so we'll pull our foresters down. half, and we'll let more people come over here and clear this out. And the idea is that I plan on expanding this way and then down and connecting back to this pasture that I've kind of made. And what I'll do is I'll make this cattle, and I'll put more herdsmen in here, and I'll show you how to split your herd. So because I have an empty cattle pasture down here, and this is maxed out, what I'll do is I'll actually click split, and it will, apparently these dudes will just know. They'll be like, hey, yo, I'll go this way, and they will follow through this tunnel, and all of a sudden you'll just have cows, and the cows just, they're really smart cows apparently. They'll just come down here, and I'll have 6 cows out of 18, and I'll have 6 cows out of 12. So that's cool. That means we can produce more cows, or something. I assume that's what it means. Our food's not looking too good, but it's only summer, so not too bad. They're going to start harvesting, but you see we have much better yield now on pretty much everything. Which is, that's what we want. We want the 90s. We don't want the 40s. The 40s are bad. And we see that we've got a little bit of starvation because this number's going back and forth. Oh, we got 1 student. We do see that we have 39 children and 19 students. That number of students is going to kind of go in between 0 and 20 because they only have 1 school and it can only hold 20 people. So what I want to do is, I guess I also want to move over here, but there's this mountain that's kind of a problem. Let's ride on this for a little bit. Early autumn, they're going to start harvesting, and once they start harvesting, it's going to, in fact they're harvesting right now, our food production is going to go up significantly, which is good. We want that number to be booming. But still, we've got some people dying of starvation because they couldn't hold it in just a little bit longer. Okay, a lot of people died of starvation. That's interesting. I guess they were kids and old people. Anyway. Let's go ahead and kill more chickens. What was it, 38? So go ahead. Kill those chickens. Come back over here. Our chickens have been killed. We'll let more chickens grow. Now, there is a problem because if the people, it's not enough to just have food, like to produce food. Like this number means something, but only if people can get to it. So these people are still hungry, and the reason they're still hungry is because they've gotten the food to a storeroom somewhere, maybe over here or somewhere. They've gotten this food somewhere, but they haven't delivered it to this market, and that is sort of achieved by this vendor right here, where you give people, I guess, the ability to sell your stuff. Otherwise, people are just going to keep dying. So, good to know that the more you know about it. We cleaned out this bit down here. Now we can see that there are plenty of deer and stuff down here. Make sure we have good hunters. We do. So they should be doing their job. Good. So yeah, that's pretty much Banished. You know, I can keep talking about it. It's kind of just like the day in the life of MG as God, pretty much, as a guy who, oh look, we got another merchant who's just gonna like come on down here. I wonder if he's gonna like try to go over this. Oh, it's on a land bridge. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so pick up Banished. It was only like 20 bucks and on Steam, and I'm holding out for the day that it becomes available on Mac and Linux, because that'll be a good day. But check it out. It's pretty cool, especially if you like Caesar or Pharaoh or Zeus, you know, any of those. So I'm MG from Experience Points. Check us out online at exppoints.com or facebook.com/experiencepoints. Until then, enjoy.